decides to go for two. He hits the true freshman Taylor, the touchdown, or the two-point conversion from the tight end. 32-31, LSU the win.
And we touched on it, Matt. What?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back. It's been a while, but we are finally back here. Alabama season is officially over. They lost to LSU 32-31. And this is the game, honestly, I'm not even mad. I'm not mad. I'm not pissed off. I mean, this was probably the least stressed game I think I've watched all season. In a way, I'm actually kind of glad we lost because now that this gives Nick Saban, I mean, this pushes Nick Saban into a corner. This pushes Nick Saban to a corner, ladies and gentlemen. Nick Saban doesn't have a choice at this point. You have to, one of those two have to go. Bill O'Brien or Pete Golding have to go. One of those two have to go. You, ladies and gentlemen, this Alabama football squadron had one of the most experienced teams in college football coming back. You had Will Anderson, who was a Heisman Trophy finalist, coming back. You had Bryce Young, the Heisman Trophy winner, coming back. You had an experienced defensive line that all four players, except for Jaheim Otis, played in the national championship game against Ohio State 2 years ago, and Justin Agbobi, DJ Dale, Will Anderson was there, and you had Byron Young. All four of them were on that national title squad. Brian Branch was on that squadron on the defensive back. Malachi Moore was a freshman All-American with 4 interceptions. He was on that team. Jordan Battle was there. DeMarco Hellams was starting in that game. The only difference was that on the outside, Kool-Aid McKinstry and Eli Ricks did not play for the University of Alabama. And now look what happened. Now we're in a point, ladies and gentlemen, that because of Pete Golding and because of our shitty offense with Bill O'Brien mending the fort, this team is now 6-2. Think about this for a second, guys. For the first time since 2007, the game is no longer decided by the end of the season. Normally, again, this is what makes the Auburn-Alabama game, in my opinion, the best rivalry in college football, because that game literally decides who's going to the playoffs, who's going to win the West, who's going to play for the SEC championship game, who's going to play for a national championship. That game is decided by that Auburn game. That's what makes that game so special. But for the first time since 2007, the season is over before we can even get to Auburn. It ended today in Baton Rouge. Another mark, ladies and gentlemen, which, by the way, we have not lost at LSU since 2010. That streak is now over. LSU wins with a first-year head coach and an inexperienced and youthful football team full of transfer players. That's who Alabama lost to tonight. And to be fair, it's not even the worst thing in the world, because guess what happened, ladies and gentlemen? They should have lost to Texas. Let's be honest. They should have lost to Texas. They win by a point against an injured Quinn Ewers-riddled team. They win by a point on the road at Austin. Then you struggle. Again, Bryce Young was hurt. We understand it. But still, Arkansas scored 23 unanswered points, literally moving it into a game against Arkansas. So they struggled there on the road a little bit there. Then you struggle against an A&M squadron that's now 3-6. And you're literally seconds away from losing that game. Then you let Tennessee score 52 points on you. And for everyone that kept saying, including myself, so I'm going to put myself into this, ladies and gentlemen, for everyone that kept saying that Tennessee's offense couldn't be stopped, couldn't be slowed down, including myself, Georgia held that team to 13 points. So what's the excuse for Pete Golding? What's the excuse for this defense and the amount of players, the amount of talent that's on this football squadron? There's no excuse. The excuses are thrown out the window. It's no longer just on Pete Golding. The players deserve the blame too. Lack of execution. But again, Pete Golding, his schemes and how he fails to make adjustments in the second half is absolutely just appalling to me. Why is this dude blitzing with no quarterback spy, nothing, and we're trying to go, we're trying to run cover one with man-to-man coverage with our safeties covering their best receivers on man-to-man. I don't understand what we're doing. We don't have any safety help or nothing. It's just simply we're leaving these guys on an island. Guys, this game pretty much, I'm not even going to sit up here and say that this game was embarrassing. This game pretty much summed up the entire season that is Alabama football. The standard is dead. And I'm going to make a video on this, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, but the standard is dead. The Bama standard is dead. Until we can get it back, until we can figure out a way how we can try to get it right, and it starts with getting rid of Bill O'Brien and Pete Golding. We need to hire Joe Brady. We need to hire Joe Brady as our offensive coordinator, or at least one or somebody. We need to hire an offensive coordinator that understands play designs, that understands scheming, that understands how to utilize a quarterback. We need to overhaul this offense, and we simply need to overhaul this defense. I will say this: I can't wait for DeMarco Hellams to go. I can't wait for Jordan Battle to go. Brian Branch, I'm gonna miss him. Malachi Moore, can't wait for him to go. This secondary needs an overhaul. This entire team honestly needs an overhaul. It needs a fresh start, honestly. But yeah, guys, I can't believe what happened. It sucks. It sucks, but the season's officially over. And I think at this point, guys, now I think if you're a Bama fan, again, this is a weird position because again, the season doesn't end until the regular season. We either lose to Auburn or we lose in the playoffs or the national title. That's how our season ends. But now that the season is officially over, we're 6-2, the season's over, right? Now listen, I'm still gonna watch Bama football. I'm still gonna support the squadron. I'm still gonna support our team to win. But at this point, if Bama loses another game, I'm gonna be honest, I could care less. I could care less if we lose another game. I'll be happy if we win, but I could care less if we lose another game because the season's over. What? I'm gonna be happy that we played in the New Year's Six bowl game. What does that mean? That means nothing. What? So we can get a spot playing in the Citrus Bowl? I can give two shits about the Citrus Bowl. I care about playing in a national championship. Why? Because that's how the Bama standard was formulated. I grew up with that, right? I grew up, watching a little bit of Mike Shula. Before that, like when I was like around 5, the Franchione era, and then of course Joe Kynes when he was the interim coach for a little bit. Like I grew up when I was like around 5, 6, 7 years of age. But for the majority of my life, guys, I've watched Nick Saban and I've watched the Bama standard and I've watched this team compete for national championship after national championship. So why the fuck should I care about making the Citrus Bowl? I don't care. The good thing about this loss, guys, is the fact that we now know that Nick Saban is backed into a corner. And he has a choice to make He's not going to make it within 24 hours, but he does have that opportunity to make it during the offseason. He has a choice he has to make. Either retire or fire Bill O'Brien or Pete Golding. Either retire or fire Pete Golding or fire Bill O'Brien. You got two options, Nick Saban, of what you can do here. Because you're not winning another national title with Bill O'Brien and Pete Golding on the same roster. You're not. The reason why Pete Golding won a national championship with Alabama in 2020 was because he had Steve Sarkisian coaching the offense. You see, when you have a great offensive coordinator, that can pretty much offset just how anemic another coordinator or another part of this coaching staff could be. Like, trust me. We've seen it. The Kansas City Chiefs won a Super Bowl with having a pretty average defense. It's happened, guys. Right? Alabama won in 2020. We didn't have an elite defense in 2020. We had an above average defense with an elite offense. That's how we won the national title. So when you have two subpar coordinators, that's a bad marriage. That's a complete bad marriage when you have two subpar coordinators. So yeah, guys, I'm not surprised by the result. I'm disappointed by the loss. Oh, by the way, guys, congratulations to LSU. Let's give credit where credit is due. Kayla, if you're in the chat, I'm not looking at the chat right now, but Kayla, if you're in the chat, I told you guys are going to be competitive. I told you, Kayla, you were the one that kept doubting me, man. Listen, Kayla, I told you that this was going to be the game that we might lose. This might that we were either going to lose to LSU or in Tennessee, and we ended up doing that. So it sucks, man. It absolutely sucks. But this is what I'm gonna do, guys, because I know a lot of you guys are angry. A lot of you guys want something to say. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna drop the link below, and let's get it out. Let's get it out here. Link is going below. Let's get in here. I know you guys got a lot to say. Some of you guys are gonna be talking some trash. Some of you guys are gonna be angry. I'm not angry as a Bama fan. I'm not. I'm done. I'm not disappointed at all. But if you guys want to join up here, voice your frustrations, let's do it. So we got one. Oh, okay. Here we go. So we got Brock. Brock's in here. Brock, talk to me, dog. How you feeling?
Hey, I felt this coming all along, man. I felt it at the beginning of the season when we started struggling. You know, I thought we was gonna get better, but it's just, man, it's gotta be the coordinators, man. It's lack of creativity, bro. Like, Bill O'Brien has no creativity. He just needs to go to the NFL, bro. That's all I'm saying. He's not no college coordinator. I disagree. He needs to And Pete Golden, the last play of the game, our players didn't even know what to do. It's like they were lost. What are we doing?
They ran a read option and Dallas Turner, and they simply had Dallas Turner responsible for the quarterback, but we had no other spy. It was simply just play man-to-man coverage, play man-to-man coverage, and that was just simple as about it. We had no safety help or nothing. It was just simply just those two guys. It was, I mean, Brock, what have we been saying for weeks about Pete Golden? He is the worst second half coordinator in the country. He can't make adjustments in the second half.
Exactly, man. I know this. Like, I hope next year we get rid of these in the offseason, because I just, you know, we're not gonna win shit, man. Not with these guys. We're not gonna win shit. We're gonna go home. That's what we're gonna do.
The season's over. Like, think about this, Brock.
Yeah.
We haven't had this discussion about the season being over since 2007. This is the first time since 2007. I was 9 years old. I was in the third grade the last time we were having this discussion. Some of you guys, which are a lot younger than how I am, some of you guys were like 3 or 4. And now we're having this discussion for the first time in the Nick Saban era. It's embarrassing. It's sad. It really is. It's sad. But again, Brock, the one thing that's good about this loss is the fact that it backs Nick Saban up into a corner. Because the excuse from last year was the fact that, Bill O'Brien, you know, he can't be that bad because he helped get us to a national title, or Pete Golden can't be that bad because he helped us win a national championship. Well, now look what happened. We're 6-2. The season is officially over. All the complaints have been about the coordinators, about how the players lack motivation, about the quote-unquote the anxiety that Will Anderson and that these players felt in that Tennessee game, and pretty much throughout the entirety of the season.
They got to go on with that shit, man. That's ridiculous.
It's over. Like, it is officially over now. So yeah, I mean, this,
man, I hate it for Bryce Young, man. I hate it. The kid is so, you know, I feel like Bill O'Brien is wasting this kid's talent, like, in front of our eyes. I feel like he is just absolutely messing his kid's career up, bro. Like, Bryce is so much better, bro. If we had Sark or something, man, I swear this shit wouldn't happen, bro. I swear, man.
And you know what? And Chris makes a great point. The players gotta hold some accountability. Because at the end of the day, yes, we can. Listen, we all know Bill O'Brien and P. Golden suck. We knew that going into this game. But at
I
some
knew
point, the players we gotta hold these players accountable for what they're producing on the field, because there's no leadership. There's not a vocal leader. There's not a player on the sideline that can get these players together and say, listen, bro, do your job. Do your job on the SmackDown. I mean, I remember when Ronnie Harrison, I remember when Reuben Foster would literally cuss dudes out. There were fights on the sidelines because if somebody didn't hold their shit accountable, then guess what? Then guess what? Shit would erupt and people would get checked real quick.
Jaden Daniels walked in for a doggone touchdown. He wasn't even running full blast. This kid just eased in like it was nothing, wide open, score. And then they go for 2 and win the game. Bam.
It's just it's amazing to me, man. And again, for the people who are saying
our guys, they poorly tackle, man. If you notice, there are very poorly tacklers. Like they're these guys are horrible, man. In my opinion, man. I haven't seen a Bama team like this bad. I don't know, man.
And for the people, I'll say this real quick, Brock. It's not all on Bill O'Brien, but I will say this. His play designs and his concepts are 2005. How do we play action almost every single time? And the funny part is we only took shots deep vertically 3 times throughout the course of this game. 3 times. And all 3 times it was to Ja'Cory Brooks. We had no other receivers that can get vertical down the field. We had, where were the jet sweeps? We ran one screen, running back screen. There's no jet sweeps. We keep motioning our receivers, but nothing is really going on at all.
Exactly. We don't have that wide receiver this year. We don't have that guy. And Tyler Harrell, he is where is he? I mean,
he has 1 catch for the season. He has 1 catch for the season.
I mean, man.
Catch for the season. So that goes to show you all you need to really know, man. He has 1 catch for the season. But at this point, guys, I don't know.
Eli Ricks, he did nothing. Did nothing to me.
No, he had a lot of holding calls, man. It felt like I was watching Josh Jobe. Out there tonight.
Fucking Butte burnt him, man. Butte was killing him. Kayshawn Booty, whatever his name is, yeah, he was getting burnt.
And the funny part is, I think the funny part is, throughout the course of this game, LSU, if they wanted to, they could have just kept going vertical on our safeties, because as soon as they got those one-on-one matchups to our safeties, every time they kept going vertical. Notice every time DeMarco Hellams trailed back, he had to trail. He kept trailing. He kept getting beat.
Dude, he poorly tackled the kid when they scored the first touchdown on us. He literally poorly tackled. I'm like, come on, dude, you got to wrap up, bro. Like, man, we need. I can't wait till next year, man. I hope our 2023 class make something happen, man. Because
I will say this, I'm excited for Caleb Downs. I'm excited. There is no reason why Caleb Downs not starting.
That's if we can keep our recruits now. They might decommit.
The one thing I will pitch, Brock, is the fact that, dude, you're playing on the field. Look how many freshmen we got on the football field. Like we're like trust me, I'm still gonna get despite this year, I'm still gonna get 10 plus players to the NFL draft this year. So you're gonna get into the draft, but we need help. Simply we need help. We need this entire second. Like, think about this for a second. There's not one freshman that was starting tonight that's in the secondary. Eli Ricks was a freshman All-American. DeMarco Hellams is a senior. Jordan Battle was a senior. A lot of these guys played in the national championship game, and not on the bench. They were starting. They played significant snaps against Ohio State.
You know what? I don't even care if they transfer, man. It won't bother me a fucking bit. I'm going to be honest with you. If some of these guys transfer, I wouldn't give a damn, man. I wouldn't.
I kind of hope so. Like, shit. Like, if I'm not gonna like the only person I will, again, Kool-Aid didn't. I mean, he had an okay game, for the most part. As much as I'm giving shit to Eli Ricks, I mean, it's not like he gave up 200, like 100 yards, like Terran Arnold did on the outside. So it could have been worse than that. But at the end of the day, this
Think about it. What if Bryce transferred? I mean, damn.
Bryce is going to the league. There's no way in hell he's not. There's no way in hell he's coming back this year. And if I'm Bryce Young too, I mean, there's no reason. Just go to the honestly. Like after the game was over, I screamed at my TV. I said, "Bryce, do not come back. Go to the NFL. Get your money's worth." And it's a damn shame that we wasted possibly the best quarterback. I know people gonna rip me from this, but Bryce Young is possibly the best quarterback from a skill perspective that we've ever had here at the University of Alabama, and it's wasted. 2 years.
Bryce Young's crazy.
Wasted. What'd you say, Ice?
Bryce Young's insane. I wish Georgia had a quarterback like that.
Oh my God! I mean, can you imagine?
Dude, did you see that touchdown pass he did off his back foot? That shit was so nasty, dude. Like, this kid is so good, man. And we just don't have the players to oh my God. And the chemistry's not there with our receivers, man. Bryce Young does not have the chemistry with these receivers. I see it all night.
He does not. He does not have the chemistry with the receivers at all. Bryce Young, by the way, again, I told people after this, he's not 100%. I mean, when you have an AC joint in your shoulder, you can massage it. You can try to loosen it a little bit. But I'm telling you, that's going to affect him for the rest. That's on his throwing shoulder. That's going to affect him for the rest of the year. So now you have to deal with that, with the subpar offensive line, with an offensive coordinator that refuses to run the football at critical moments and times. They have to deal with the head coach in game management situations, and now we have to deal with the situation now where receivers and the chemistry is off, and the fact that they can't get open on a consistent basis. People don't understand what Bryce Young has to go through. If you put CJ Stroud in this conversation, if you put CJ Stroud in his offense, he would crumble under the pressure. Bryce Young, I believe, is the only quarterback in the nation that can run this damn Alabama offense to a T. I believe he's the only person that can do it. And it's a damn shame.
Dude,
I
don't
wish Bill O'Brien's offense on any quarterback. I don't wish it on any quarterback.
He's always trying to get the players in order, so they match up and shit. And I mean, he's doing everything, man. I feel like Bryce Young does every fucking thing for our offense. Like,
him and Jameer
nobody
Gibbs.
helps.
Him and Jameer
Nobody
Gibbs.
helps. Yeah.
And that's a damn shame, man. That it transferred. That's a damn shame that a transfer is your best offensive weapon. Jameer Gibbs was the best receiver on the team tonight. He was not just the best running back; he was the best receiver. Like, and think about it skill wise. Like, we were hoping that we can get that Alvin Kamara reincarnation. Well, we got it with Jameer Gibbs, and what did we do with it? Absolutely nothing. We possibly wasted one of the most talented running backs we've ever inherited, and we've also wasted the most talented quarterback and the best quarterback that we've ever had in two years in a row. So this is our season. This is the way it is. And ladies and gentlemen, if people think this is going to get better for us, it's not going to get any better. If people think that this was going to be the end where Alabama was going to turn the corner after this loss, they're going to struggle against Ole Miss next week. They're going to struggle. It's going to be another struggle game. That's why, again, I was prepared for this game. I think, Brock, you were prepared for this game. We knew what it was going to be going into this game. We knew what it was going to be. We knew that this was going to be close. And not because we think that LSU is better than Alabama, but because of what we've been seeing for the entirety of the year. This Bama team has all the talent in the world to be a national champion. But at the end of the day, when you have lack of leadership, when the coaching repertoire is subpar at best, and by the way, Nick Saban tonight coaching damn near cost Bama a game today. Because guess what? Nick Saban decided to go for it not once but twice. And think about it, if he never would have went for it the second time, the score would have been 25-24. Now, would have LSU would have won? Would Bama would have won the game? Probably. Who knows? Because 21 seconds would have won the clock. But guess what? I like my chances. I would give 21 seconds. I like my chances. I like it. So again, two questionable decisions by Nick Saban. Bill O'Brien, horrible game. Horrible first half play calling. I thought second half he made adjustments, but Pete Golden had a pretty solid game in the first half, and he crapped the bed in the second half. Simple as that. Inconsistency all over the board, and that's been the tail of Alabama football. It's been simple inconsistency throughout the entirety of the season. All that crap that happened through Texas, that happened through A&M, that happened through Arkansas, that happened through Tennessee, and now LSU, it's finally caught with Alabama.
I think, but this is, gents, I think this is a down year for us because we don't have the play like the key.
I don't know, because last year we said the down year was last year, and if you looked at the numbers, it was because we had 5 games which were decided by one possessions.
Alabama could easily be 5-4 right now if Texas A&M in Texas.
Yeah, you're right, Ice. You're right. And
we honestly if we didn't have Bryce Young, we would have lost probably about 4 or 5 games already. Definitely.
I hope you guys. Do you guys want Todd Monken over Bill O'Brien?
Yeah, I'll take Todd Monken any day of the week because guess what? Todd Monken he can design plays. I love his concepts. I love the fact
and
how
Todd Monken, he's an older man. He's an older guy. You know that? Todd Monken's an older guy.
I'll take him for about
Kirby took his hands off the offense. That's why we've been starting to get. That's why we won the championship. I think Georgia's offense has been elevated since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Todd Monken has elevated this offense.
I think Georgia, and I think all they're missing now is just like I said, they got Stetson Bennett, so I'm not gonna discredit what Stetson Bennett has accomplished there. But
LSU's not gonna beat Georgia. I can guarantee you that.
I don't think they're not gonna beat Georgia. Georgia's too talented. Georgia's way too talented. They're well too damn coached. And you know what I like from Georgia the most is the leadership of this football squadron. How these guys just hold each other accountable. I watched that Georgia Tennessee game, and I'm watching players yell at each other. I'm like, players are getting they're getting G checked, they're getting held accountable. And the funny part is, it's not the seniors that are doing it; these are freshmen. The freshmen are the ones that are.
In my opinion, I think so. Clemson lost tonight, and Ohio State struggled really bad with a Northwestern team. So, yeah, I think Georgia would easily win a national title.
Yeah, they're the favorite.
Yeah,
it's looking like Georgia and Ohio State potentially for a national title. TCU, I just don't believe, but it's looking like Georgia and Ohio State is going to be playing for a national title. You can just kind of tell which are the 2 best teams in college football.
I think we're going to be playing TCU
for what? Sugar Bowl?
Yeah, something like that, probably. Some bowl.
I don't know. I don't even know if we're gonna make it to it. I think we're gonna play in the Citrus Bowl. I think we're gonna be playing against the Big Ten squadron. Probably Penn State. If I had to bet my money, I would say we're probably gonna play against Penn State in the Citrus Bowl. That's my bet.
I have no idea why Ohio State's decided to blame the fucking weather.
What about Oregon?
Yeah, 30 miles.
What about Oregon?
Now they're in the West Coast. We made our agreement with the Big 12 and the Big 10 as far as bowl games. That's our agreement. So we don't play any really Pac-12 squads.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell Alabama all season long, even though they did have some big time wins and stuff this year, I could tell that we didn't have that team this year that was gonna do anything, win a title or nothing like that. So it's not. I'm upset about it, but I'm not gonna stress myself out because of it's next year,
Yeah, next year, not, man. Yeah, I'm not. I wasn't even going into this game. I wasn't even stressed. I didn't even put on my my Bama shirt. I didn't put on you guys can see. I have a white T-shirt right now, so I had nothing, no socks, no hat, nothing. I just laid in bed. I laid in bed and I watched the game the entire time. I this was I refused to be stressed for this game. I refused because I knew what was coming. I knew we were going to go back to the old ways. I knew we were going to have penalties. I knew that the offense was once again going to be pedestrian as best. I knew that we were not going to be running the football until we probably had to catch up. And then I knew that defensively we were going to be inconsistent. I knew that if this game was close in the first half, our chances of winning were extremely low. I tweeted it. I said if we went to the second half, if this game is close in the first half, this game was going to be decided by how Alabama decides how they want to play. Do they want to go back to formulating the Bama standard? Is this offense going to be a little bit more creative? Or
this guy Jaden Daniels ran a touchdown on the first overtime drive. I mean, come on, dude. Like, what the fuck? How,
and the funny
man?
part is Jaden Daniels Jaden Daniels had 120 130 something passing yards.
Where next?
140 passing yards this game. So it's not like he threw over Bama. He used his legs. He managed the game extremely well, and that's how they won the game. They out physicaled Alabama in the second half of the game, and we kept making mental errors. Our play designs, our play designs and on the defensive side of the ball was extremely useless. We failed to make adjustments. Pete Golden failed to make these adjustments to put these players in the best position, and at the end of the day, we also didn't execute. So, Bama did this to themselves, man. They did this to themselves. So if they had to look themselves in a mirror, they gotta look at each other, and they gotta look at themselves, and they gotta hold themselves accountable, and the coaches gotta hold themselves accountable. And like I said before, man, the best thing about this loss is that this backs Saban into a corner, because now he has no choice but to let go of one of these. One of them has to go. You can't have two subpar coordinators. One of them.
Do you think we lose any recruits for losing? Probably.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we do lose some recruits. But I don't think it's going to be tremendously. I still think we're going to have a great recruiting class.
They're not going to Texas A&M wherever they're going to train the commit to.
Yeah.
They're
like
3-6.
A&M is going to lose a lot of dudes, so you can get a lot of talent from A&M if you want.
How do you go 3-6 with that much talent? That's beyond insane.
That's crazy. Yeah. And it's funny. I said they were going to go 6-6, man, but they might go. I don't know, because they're losing to LSU. That's the damn sure. That's a loss ahead on their schedule.
It could be 4-8.
Who are you talking about?
Really?
4-8. A&M.
Oh yeah.
A&M's A&M is a big disappointment this year. Jimbo Fisher needs to be fired. I think that's no question about it. But props to LSU, man. Like I said, LSU, they made the right hire. We gave Brian Kelly shit because of what he was able to do in Notre Dame, but he made the right hire.
But do you know how bad that makes me sick that we lost to our first year head coach of Notre Dame?
Brian Kelly's never seen a schedule like that. I'm impressed with this record right now.
I'm impressed, honestly. Like when they lost to Florida State, I thought, this is going to be another subpar year, but no, they've done well. And the funny part is that this team I think this team is going to be a lot better next year because I think the quarterback play is going to be a lot better. Jaden Daniels is kind of the floor. He's not the ceiling of what LSU could be. He's their floor. And I think their quarterback play with Walker Howard or whoever's going to be their quarterback for next year, I think their offense is going to get a lot better. So, their defense is extremely young. Hey, they're going to do what they're going to do, but
Tennessee's fans are a bunch of idiots for saying home field advantage doesn't matter.
Oh, it does. It does.
Yeah,
matter.
If Alabama played that Tennessee game at Bryant Denny, I think we
win that game. Yeah, I think we win that game if that game was at home. But we haven't played well on the road. That's another thing that Bama hasn't done. They haven't played well on the road.
Yeah, and it shows, man. We struggle.
Yep. That was the loudest Sanford Stadium I think I've ever watched. I think that's the loudest stadium I ever got, really.
Yeah. That crowd definitely made an involvement, made a pack.
90,000 people are like, oh, that's your small. It's like they're gonna create that much noise. No, that's the loudest I've heard Sanford Stadium. That
crowd made a ruckus, man. And again, props to Georgia. Like they did what it needed to be best. They mitigated Tennessee's passing attack. Which was really their vertical game was the only thing to be feared from. Again, if Georgia was able to force the underneath throws, they got the athletes to make those tackles in open space.
That's crazy. I've never seen Georgia made that many sacks in one game. Yeah. Now they're not like.
And they lost Nolan Smith. Like you had Robert Bill in there. Of course, Jalen Carter's going to do what Jalen Carter does. But Zion Louch, he was huge for them tonight.
Like they were just loss. Great game plan. One of their first stringers. It's not. The defense is still the same. because we have so much talent on this defense.
Yeah,
so much
exactly. And that's what that's to be fair, that's what Georgia's always got the talent. Of course, Kirby Smart has kind of upgraded the talent level. But no, like they're in a position now where they're not going to drop off no matter how many players they lose. They're in that position. They're in that position right now where they're just not. No matter how many players they lose, they're not going to drop off. And that's simply what we're doing right now. We simply have a drop off. Like there's a drop off from Jamison Williams and John Mechie. There was a drop off, from that 2020 offensive line that we had to what we had now with 2021 and 2022. With Georgia, you're not seeing that, and that's that's props to them.
Yeah, I hope Georgia's just getting caught with Mississippi and State and Kentucky. I hope we don't get caught up in there. Georgia Tech we should win. I hope we both win versus Kentucky and Mississippi State. I think we're both on the road for those.
Yeah, I'll say that. And Georgia hasn't been invincible the entire this. Like they struggled against Kent State. The Missouri game was definitely a struggle. So it's not like they're invincible. So they can get caught. But if Georgia has that focus for the entirety of the year, then there's no doubt Georgia's going to be a great team. They're en route. I don't think there's any team right now that can beat Georgia besides maybe Ohio State. And it's not even because of their offense, because I like their defense. I think their defense is showing improvements.
Just imagine if Georgia had a really talented quarterback at play.
Oh my God! Yeah,
I really like what he's done with Georgia, but like
team would be unstoppable, man. It would be unstoppable if we had a quarterback. I wish Bryce Young went to Georgia. Honestly, I want Bryce Young to get a national championship. There's no player I want to win a national title more than I do with Bryce Young. If there's any player I want Bryce Young to win it. He has a ring. He's got a ring, he's got a natty, but I want him to win it as a starter. And I feel like, it's just sad that the most talented and the best quarterback we've ever had walks out with nothing because of our coordinators.
I think if Todd Monken was the offensive coordinator for Alabama, a play caller, they would have won the natty. Because if Georgia uses Todd Monken, we're probably gonna hire some coffee boy and go back to the good old day 2019 Georgia offense, 24 points a game. Oh, Kirby doesn't do that.
Shy because Bill O'Brien's our offensive coordinator. That's why. Shy, I can't even really give you an answer besides Bill O'Brien. That's the reason why. Again, we got the speed. JoJo Earl is the 4.4 runner. I'm sorry, JoJo Earl is a 4.3 runner. Tyler Harrow is a 4.2 runner. I'm trying to think who else. We got some other cats. Isaiah Bond was a 4.4 runner. We got vertical speed, but we don't use it. We only threw the ball vertical 3 times at the start of the game, and that was all throughout the fourth quarter. So I don't know. It's like I don't know anymore, man. It's like I'm just done. I'm done with it, man. And I think that, again, the best thing we can hope for is that Bill O'Brien gets fired. Bill O'Brien gets let go. Pete Golding gets let go. We hire somebody competent. Maybe get Joe Brady from Buffalo, and we can try to push it elsewhere. But this team needs a complete overhaul, and it's not a good position because it's not.
They both stay as a Georgia fan.
They both stay, man. Georgia's gonna get national titles, man. But no, yeah. There's no reason why Georgia shouldn't win a national title this year. There's no reason. We're out of the race. Clemson, they're out of the race. Now at this point, it's Ohio State, Michigan. Not sold on Michigan. I think Georgia, that's a great matchup for them. There's no reason why Georgia should not win a national title. Why they won't win back to back. It should be theirs. The title should be theirs. So we're just gonna have to.
It could be a very high possibility if Georgia was to go against Ohio State in the national championship. Ohio State could win that game.
They could. I just like the matchup. I think I like Georgia's matchup. I like their corners, and I like Georgia's secondary. Their secondary, I think, can match up with anybody in the country. That's why I like them so much. I think Keely Ringo is a shutdown type of corner. Your safety play with Starks and Smith are beautiful to watch. I like, and then you have the athletes and the speed to pretty much match up. Like Tennessee, I mean, Cedric Tillman is a NFL draft pick receiver. I mean, Jalen Hyatt, you saw what he did against us. You know, like Brew McCoy, like they got an excellent receiving core. Not better than Ohio State's, but you know, Ohio State's, man. But I like the matchup. Like I like the matchup for Georgia.
Yeah, I think I would be fully confident in Georgia if they had an elite quarterback. If they end up going to the national championship game versus Ohio State, I'd be very confident in Georgia. But Stetson Bennett, man, you have no idea what he could do in the game. He could be very, really bad, or it could be just an elite quarterback one game.
Yeah, you don't, and that's kind of the thing that he's unpredictable. He's unpredictable,
you don't know
man.
What you're gonna get.
Yeah.
You got a really bad Stetson Bennett last year in the first half in the national championship game, but he turned it on late in the mid fourth quarter, and won us the game basically.
Yeah, when he gets it going, man. When he gets it going, he's hard to stop because, like I said, he has one of the prettiest deep balls you're ever going to see. He's extremely accurate. You know, again, they run a lot of 12-13 personnel, so their tight ends are mismatches, but I don't know, man. It's just one of those cases, man, where I think there is just no excuse why Georgia should not win a national title. Like the path is literally there for them right now, and I think it's just up to them. I think it's up to them what they want to do. You know, again, it's Stetson Bennett, what type of game, what type of season he can have. But
the one concern is that we don't have the same defense as last year.
Yeah,
but
the secondary is stronger, but the front is a little weaker than what it was last year.
Yeah, but up front, obviously, but we've been getting the Hendon Hooker when it was raining. We've been getting the Hendon Hooker almost every time.
Even before the rain.
Yeah, that defensive line hasn't really slowed. I mean, they have less veteran experience, but they have not slowed down.
Yeah, but Crimson, I absolutely agree, man. And I said it before, I said it again, man. The positive that I can take away from this Bama game is the fact that one of these coordinators is going to get fired. There's no reason to have these guys here anymore. So that's the only positive I can take away from it.
I'm gonna love when Jermaine Burton is gonna have to watch Georgia run the table.
Exactly.
He thought he transferred.
The year he leaves, that's when Georgia has the number 2 total offense in the country.
He makes me laugh. Jermaine Burton makes me laugh every single time if Alabama loses or struggles. He makes me laugh because I'm going to transfer Alabama, maybe get a national title, but in reality, he should have stayed with Georgia.
I know if I'm Jermaine Burton, I'm pissed, man. Like the year I leave, of course, that's when Georgia's offense becomes explosive and they start to. I mean, again, they're not throwing for 5,000 passing yards, so he's not going to have the statistical numbers. That's why he came to Bama. He came to Bama to play with Bryce Young, but and we tried to make him the number 1 guy, for half the season. Jermaine Burton was the number 1 guy. He was the read. He was our number 1 read, but the problem is that he's just not that good of a number 1 receiver. He's more of a number 2 or a slot, not a true number 1 guy. He's more of a number 2 or a slot guy. So, you know,
he works better with Georgia's offense.
He does. He's
better for Jermaine Burton, in my opinion,
because he's not the number 1 option. He's like the number 3 guy. You got Brock Bowers you can focus with. You got Darnell Washington as soon as you guys are running your 12. You got vertical speed with Arian Smith. You got other guys that can make plays for you. And Jermaine Burton was kind of the one guy that not a lot of defenses focused on. At Bama for that time, he was the primary focus because our receivers were so unknown. But Bill O'Brien's offense also had to do with it because we run a 2005 pro style offense.
Yeah, that's true. I think with Georgia, usually we win. So in 2027, we've lost the national championship to you guys. Devontae Smith made me cry for weeks because I think I was 10 years old at the time, and I cried for weeks. But we had a drop off, and our offense and our defense are still good. Our offense just couldn't get anything going. But then something has changed in this team. We haven't had. I don't spot a drop. I mean, we had 2 coughed up games. We had no really bad games last year. So, but I'd say we're slightly weaker. But we could, if we play really good throughout the year, I think we could definitely win a natty this year.
Yeah. What's up, Lee? Lee, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you, dude. My bad.
What's up, Lee?
Honestly, bro, well, Bill O'Brien, like he's not a just can at this point, bro. The bad play calling, Bryce having to run for his life, the offensive coordinator just,
Horrible,
at this
man.
point, like I would rather taking Matt Riley from TCU and have him as an offensive coordinator.
Horrible.
What he has been doing with like 2 stars, like recruits, and making them play better than they actually are, is something that we need.
I think the good thing about like I said, I keep saying it, I keep reiterating this, but it's so I got the loss hurts. It hurts. It's disappointing. It hurts. But now we can talk about new offensive coordinators. We can talk about new coordinators. We can talk about who's available. Like we're now
Joe Brady.
Joe Brady. That's my first option, man. He's
Joe
like
Brady.
I said, too damn good of a
Honestly, I
coordinator.
would take Jeremy Pruitt back for the defense. That's about it right now.
Yeah, Gary Pruitt, he's out there. He's available. I mean, he's probably what coaches. Take Jeremy Pruitt. I don't know, Scott Frost. If you want Scott Frost to be your offensive coordinator, I'll take him. Like I'll take anybody at this point. I'll take Todd Monken. I'll take anybody at this point over Bill O'Brien. I'll take anybody's point over Bill O'Brien and Pete Golden, man. I'll take anybody with that. But there's no questioning that they have to go. And if I'm Nick Saban, I'm making phone calls. I'm calling up, hey, D'Amico Ryans, hey, we know we know we know the 49ers not good right here. Listen, we need that Bama stand to be back, bro. Can you come back here? Listen, I'll get D'Amico Ryans, somebody. I'll get anybody to see what we can do, man. But no, now we can start talking about coordinators. We can talk, we can start talking about other positions in need. Hell, I mean, shit. I mean, I haven't really been paying attention to recruiting this year like I used to in the past. Nope. I guess I'm gonna start doing that this year because guess what? Season's over. So, if there's any positive to take away from this is the fact that I can just look towards the offseason and I can finally watch the season stress-free. Because Bama can lose literally every other game and I would not care because we're not playing for a title. So why should I care if we lose another? I mean, I don't care. I mean, I'm not. Why? I'm not gonna care that we're going to be participating in a Citrus Bowl against Penn State. I can care less. Why? So we can lose to Penn State and further our embarrassment? I'd rather play in the Birmingham Bowl. At least secure us a win. But, it is what it is. It's one of those years where you're kind of glad that the season, or at least for me, I don't know how you feel about this league, but I'm glad the season's over. Seriously. Because that means now we don't have to stress anymore about Bill O'Brien. We don't have to stress anymore about Pete Golden. We don't have to stress anymore about what Nick Saban, about his decisions, about his rants, about crap, about this here and that, about players having anxiety. Like, that's gone now for me. Now we can focus on the offseason. We can watch the rest of college football the way it is. And, it is what it is now.
Like honestly, though, I just can't wait till the season's done with at this point. I don't even care about the next 3 games. If you can lose that, I could just the way Curry Smart has built his defense up just amazes me. I'm not gonna lie. The fact that there's just the leadership they have. Freshmen are literally calling out seniors on bad plays. That's what we should have. That's the original Bama. I don't know what the heck Golden has done. It's just terrible. You got fucking seniors not knowing plays. They need to run. Literally, the 2-point conversion. I just saw Will Anderson just sat there and looked confused the whole entire time. I don't know what is happening. It's just terrible. Missed tackles. You have a guy in literally the backfield. You just tackle him. Get him to the ground. I don't care how you do it. Get him to the ground. You can't let a freaking walk-on bully you for a first down. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, Black YouTube hasn't made me. I tried to apply for affiliate. They haven't made me an affiliate yet. But best thing you can do right now, Black, is hit the like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, dog. Let's try to get these numbers up, so we can try to push. So we can push this algorithm up. That's the best way you can help me, so we can try to get that affiliate, so we can get these super chats in here sooner or later, man. But definitely appreciate you, man. Beezy, bro. Shout out to you, brother. I know. Like I said, you guys. Congratulations for your win. Hard fought win for you guys. And good luck to you guys the rest of the way. Congrats. I mean, like I said, Kayla, I don't know if Kayla's in here, but Kayla, big, huge LSU fan. Shout out to her. pretty much LSU fans have showed me a lot of love lately, so I appreciate you guys so much for stopping by. But no, Lee, no, you hit it right on the nail, dog. There's no intensity. There's no leadership. I mean, when Will Anderson said that this team had anxiety, I'm like, you just knew that the team it's off. We don't have the standard, at least for this particular year. And quite frankly, like I said, I don't know if we even when we won the national title in 2020, we did not win that game. We did not win the title because of our defense. We won the national championship because of our offense. Our defense was getting carried the entire of the season. A lot of people forget that Ole Miss put up 600 yards of offense on Alabama in the third game of the regular season. A lot of people forget that Florida put up over 500 yards of offense, and Kyle Trask put up almost close to 500 yards passing against Alabama in the SEC championship game. Did we win the national championship against Ohio State? Yes, we did. But we had a top 30 defense. We had a team that was full of veterans, and that was not I won't even really say that. We had a lot of young guys play. But you can make an argument that we haven't had the standard, at least defensively, since 2017. And the offense has lost its spark. We've lost our identity of what we are trying to, what we're striving to be. And we're just kind of in an identity crisis. We don't know what we want to be offensively and defensively. And if you're Nick Saban, you got to evaluate the roster, and you got to evaluate this team, and you got to look. I'm interested to see what Nick Saban does. Because again, the question about him, hey, he's 71 years of age. His time is coming near. That's what a lot of fans, except Bama fans, have been saying. Well, now guess what? We're 6-2, and for the first time since 2007, we're having this conversation about the offseason. Well, I mean, so it's a lot of questions that have to be answered, and I'm wondering to see what Nick Saban does. But there's no questioning, guys, that Nick Saban messed up the season. He did. A lot of the responsibility has to go on his shoulders. He messed up when it came to coaching. When it came to coaching hires, he messed up when it came to adjusting our depth chart and adjusting our roster. Why in the hell wasn't Eli Rick starting for the first game of the year, and you had to start Kyrie Jackson and Terry and Arnold as your corners? Why in the hell did we have to wait all the way into the fourth game to start Seth McLaughlin at center? We know damn well that Darren Duckworth is not the answer there. Why in the hell didn't you fire Bill O'Brien or Pete Golding after the national champions in 2021, after the anemic offensive and defensive performances we had that entirety of the year? All of it has to fall on Nick Saban at the end of the day. And I'm interested to see what he does for the entirety of the year.
I mean, I don't blame Nick Saban for that, honestly, due to the fact that every time we got a good offensive quarter or a good defensive quarter, it just leaves up every year. So, honestly, probably why he's still something because Bill O'Brien came back for another year, which is why he kept him along, which is still a bad mistake on his part.
Yeah, and I think that's gone now. Like I think that if Nick Saban brings back O'Brien and Pete Golding, there is going to be hell that's going to be raised within the band within the Tide community. Like, it is going to be hell be risen if those two come back. There's no excuse to bring those guys back, especially because there's not a quarterback on our roster right now that can run Bill O'Brien's offense like Bryce Young can. Nobody's running. No, I don't think there's any quarterback in the nation right now that can run Bill O'Brien's offense the way that Bryce Young has to carry this damn offense on his back. So
Larry Bryce has been playing street ball for the past 2 years now. It makes no sense to me at all. I'm just sitting here. Where is our offensive line at? Like, you have all these 5-star offensive linemen that can't protect for crap. I'm just sitting here. I'm just done.
Yep, you got you have a subpar offensive line. You have receivers that can't get any separation at all. The concepts with our receivers were absolutely horrendous tonight. Our lack of commitment to the run game was absolutely appalling. The funny part is Gibbs had 100 yards rushing, but our lack of commitment to the run game once again cost us, because guess what? In the first half, we decided not to run the football.
I'm still more mad at the fact of the matter. Like, you go first.
If we were going to run the football, it was going to be off tackle. We ran 3 inside. I'm sorry, I got to take that back. We ran 5 or 6 inside dives tonight. 5 or 6 inside dives. If this was Alabama 5, 6, 7 years ago, that's our staple play is our dive play. Why? Because we were known to bully people off the line of scrimmage. We're not that team anymore that can bully people off the line of scrimmage. We have to use Gibbs for him to bounce to really bounce off tackle because we can't get any push. We have to. I mean, it's incredible. It's just sad. Just sad to see, man. Just sad to see. Just sad to see what this team is it's coming down to. Like it's falling apart right before our eyes. And again, can we get the standard back? I have no clue. I'm not gonna sit up here and say that we're gonna get it back next year. Because I said that last year. I said last year we were gonna go back and we were gonna get the standard back because when you have Henry T coming back, when you have Will Anderson and Justin Agbogbe and DJ Dale and all these players that were on these national championship squadrons, a lot of these guys starting were seniors that have been on the roster for 4 years. I thought this could be the year that they could get it back. And it's worse than what it was. So I don't know.
One thing that pissed me off more about the game isn't the fact he lost, it was the fact how he lost. Why the hell are you going for 2-2-point conversions? Just take the field goal and trust your defense the whole entire time. Literally.
And that's Nick Saban's fault. That's Saban's fault. That's just piss poor game management by Nick Saban. There's no reason for you to go. I mean, the first time, I can understand it because you're trying to extend it. You're trying to make it a 3-point game. But the second time you go for it, there's no, like, what are you going to do? If you get it, you're up by 2 scores. All they need is a field goal to win the game anyway. So I would rather just take the points. Because guess what? At least you're going to be in a position now where they have to make a field goal. Trust your defense to make a stop within 21 seconds, and who knows, we could be having a different conversation. But instead, piss poor game management by Saban.
At this point, it's either between Ohio State and Georgia.
That's
could
what
say
I said
Oregon's in
earlier.
the mix or anything like that, but Oregon's not there yet. I still don't trust Bo Nix.
That's what I said earlier. It's between Georgia and it's Ohio State. Our season's again, it's over, so we got to watch from the sidelines. But I think it's kind of clear cut who the 2 best teams are. Ohio State hasn't played pretty, but their talent is. I think Ohio State. That's the only team that can match it with Georgia. If Michigan plays Georgia, Michigan's going to get smacked again. So I think it's Georgia and Ohio State for the national title. Sucks, man. Sucks.
Honestly, I believe Lane Kiffin's going to take on once Nick Saban retires in like 3 to 4 years. That's what I'm just waiting for at this point.
I mean, who knows? Who knows at this point? I don't know. At this point, I can't even say it's too soon to be having this conversation because who knows? Who knows? Like a lot of the decisions are decisions that we're just not used to seeing Nick Saban make.
And he has no intensity in his eyes anymore. That's not the old Nick Saban.
No, it's like he's gone. It's like a lot of that intensity was just gone throughout the game. Like you just couldn't. I don't know.
The first drive, like the first drive in that possession, I'm like, okay, you're moving out the field. And Bryce Young makes a boneheaded mistake, which is not usually Bryce Young's fault. And now that is just downhill. None. You can't even go to the length of the field.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? We had more penalties than it. You know what's funny? We had more penalties than LSU tonight. We talked about everyone kept talking about, hey, maybe Alabama figured themselves out as far as playing disciplined ball. Nope, 9 penalties. It's better than 10 like we used to average, but still, we had 9 penalties this game. We had crucial calls. We just, tonight was just tonight. It just pretty much explained the entirety of the season. I mean, the entirety of the season led up to this moment. And like I said, it is what it is. The season's over. It sucks. It is what it is. But again, if there's any positive to take away from this loss is the fact that we can now talk about coordinators because there's no way in hell that Bill O'Brien and Pete Golden come back. There's no way. One of those two are going to either get – because Nick Saban doesn't like to fire coaches. He likes to kind of like them find jobs, and then they go. But
at this point in time, you have to go.
Yeah.
They can be an assistant. I'll take that over you being an offensive coordinator at this point.
Yeah, I'll make you an analyst or something. I'll give you some duties, but no. I don't know. It's tough, man. It's just extremely tough, man. But, like I said, hats off to LSU. They did exactly what they needed to do tonight. Brian Kelly was extremely aggressive. I loved it. I love the fact how they went for two. They played to win the game. They did not want to take that chance with us. They did not want to go for those 2 extra points. But it was bad game planning, bad execution by the players. Offensively, like I say, we did not run the ball into the second half, until really the second half of the game. Once again, a lot of questionable play calling, a lot of questionable decisions, and it's leading us to this moment where we are now 6-2 and the season's officially over. And if there's anything to care about for this year, it's the fact that we can beat Auburn at least. That's always kind of a bragging rights game. So I'll look forward to that. I can care less whether if we win it or lose to Ole Miss. I literally could care less about that game. Pretty much the only game I pretty much care about at this point is by beating Auburn. But, I look forward to next year, and I look forward to recruiting. That's all I can say, man.
Do you think Bryce and Will Leonard should play the next 3 games? Because I honestly don't think they should at this point.
Yeah, I'd rather them sit out, honestly. I'd rather them sit out. You got nothing to play for at this point. Bryce Young has nothing.
I'd rather start Ty Simpson over Jalen Mira at this point. Other than what happened in Texas A&M.
Yep. I'll say get them experience. I think literally now knowing Will Anderson and knowing Bryce, like, they're competitors, so they're not going to quit. They're going to continue to play. But if I'm their agents, if I'm their parents, I'm telling them, Will, sit out. Bryce, sit out. You have nothing to play for. You have nothing to play for at this point. Your stock is pretty much guaranteed that you're going to be a top 10 pick. Don't mess it up. Don't risk injury for a team that has nothing to play for. But pride, which we don't even have pride. Like, we don't even have pride. What's pride to us?
I probably left when Scott Crocker went to Georgia. At that point, all the intensity left.
That's our pride. That's our intensity. When Scott Conklin left, that's what happens when you keep hiring these doctors, like these weird doctors. These guys, I mean, shit, man. These fucking scientists and all this type of shit like that, man. Like, we're trying to we're back in the future.
The funny thing about it, though, he would have stayed if Nick Saban would have gave him the special teams coordinator position. Actually, I would have taken that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I like Allen because Allen's a recruiter, but so is Conklin. Conklin, he can recruit his ass off. I'm like, yeah, I'll give you the special teams coordinator job as long as you still are involved with strength and conditioning.
And it also doesn't have the fact that once we lose offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, they take majority of our staff with them. It makes me have to rebuild every year. It makes it even tougher on us. And
it sucks. It sucks. Like Steve Sarkisian, I hated the fact how he took Kyle Flood and he took a lot of our guys. I mean, that happens every year with us, but I think we're so used to Bama just replacing it in a heartbeat that, like, in a way, it's caught up with us. Like, it's finally caught up with us. We don't have the elite coaching staff. We don't have the elite play. We don't really have the elite players like we used to, man. It's finally kind of caught up with us, and it sucks. Sucks to kind of
Clemson from perspective. When Dabo Swinney was in charge of Clemson, his defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator stayed with him for 9 freaking years. You couldn't even have that loyalty.
Exactly. Like, you just couldn't. I mean, the loyalty was Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart was the only loyal person, but he was waiting. I mean, the only way he was going to leave is if he took a dream job, which was Georgia. That was his dream job. Clemson, a lot of those guys left because, honestly, they just, Brent Venables wanted his dream job, which was coaching Oklahoma. That was always his dream job. And then for the most part, Allen was he was outed. I think he kind of got the Nick Saban treatment. He was outed. I mean, because of how poor their offense played. But no, they're off again. Yeah, their coaching staff stayed there for 9 years, extremely loyal. And as soon as they fell apart, I mean, they're still a great program. But you can clearly see the drop off. Like, there's a drop off from Clemson. From those.
I think it's due to the fact that their QB is just dog water. He plays great one game, and he's just dog water the next game. It's a relentless cycle.
Mm-hmm. I think that's just yeah. Yeah, I agree, baby. I mean, it was a shitty decision. Us going for it on 2, I thought again the first time I can understand it. The second time I thought was just a stupid decision. We got greedy. Simple as that. Because if you would have got the 2-point conversion, it still would have been a 2-point game. I never understood that decision. I thought it was dumb. But it is what it is. You know, it is what it is.
The only bright spot about this game is Will Riker's back. That's the only good thing. And Bryce
Will
still
Riker
that
had a
guy.
great game. He had a great game. Will Riker redeemed himself today. He did not lose this game tonight. So sucks that Will Riker played arguably the best game of the season, and it was wasted. So it sucked for him because it wasn't Will Riker's fault. I thought special teams. I thought played flawless. I thought special teams did a really, really good job tonight. But once again, offensively, defensively, lack of execution, lack of communication, lack of lack of our play designs and concepts, and just kind of just the mediocrity, which is Bill O'Brien and Pete Golden, failed us tonight. And we now get to look at it and say, one of these two we all know is going to be gone.
I was just sitting here watching our receivers cross with each other, getting confused. I'm saying, like, if you're open, bro, just stay in that spot. He will find you. I'm just sitting here and watching.
Where was the crossing routes? Like we did not make LSU secondary work laterally. Like we
only
were
had one crossing route that whole entire game. That was like the second possession of the series.
Where's the crossing routes? Like we kept running a lot of these underneath routes, but we did not run anything to make their safety play run laterally. Like we simply had we simply ran 3 routes the entirety of the game, and that was pretty much about it. Like I watched Georgia run wheel routes. They're making like the up and under routes. Like they have all these different receiving concepts, and you look at our team, and it's so damn simplistic. It's so easy to defend our offense. It's insane. And you think that Bill O'Brien's going to get creative? You think that Bill O'Brien's going to add more stuff into his repertoire? No. It's like he's stubborn as all fuck, man, and he just won't change. And again, you're not going to win a national title with a stubborn coach like Bill O'Brien. So we'll see what Nick Saban does. The ball's in his court, though. It's in his court. Arm tackles are killing me. Yeah, the arm tackles. Yeah, the tackling was garbage tonight. Honestly, I agree. The arm tackling was horrendous. We kept arm tackling. Every time they would catch a ball or every time they would run, we would hit them. Whether it was beyond the line of scrimmage, whether it was a 2 or 3 yard gain, it would just transform into like a 5, 6, 7 yards after contact because of arm tackles. Jalen Moody played like absolute dog water tonight. Moody played like dog water. Toa, well, he played like Henry Toa, so I'm not even going to complain about that. Play like dog water. Our defensive line, I thought, was okay at best. What Anderson had a hell of a game, but he even had a lot of arm tackles, but he was getting pressure. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is, and I think at this point we got to make a decision about what we can do personnel wise and what we can do with our team. This team needs an overhaul. It needs a refresh rate, and it is what it is. It is what it is. Lee, I'm gonna drop you. I'm gonna drop you real quick, dog. I'm gonna see if I can try to get some other people in here. All right, but appreciate you stopping by, dog.
Yeah.
Anybody else wants to join? Make sure to hit the link if you want to kind of join up in here. I'll try to get some other opportunity, other people to kind of talk. If you want to. Otherwise, like I said, I'll stay on here for like a few more minutes. We'll have some more conversations. Definitely read some of your chats. See what we got here. Jordan, I'm gonna be honest with you, dog. I can care less if we lose or not. I'm gonna be completely honest. If they lose to Ole Miss, I don't even care. Good for Ole Miss, great win. If you storm the field, great win. But I mean, like I said, the only game I care about at this point is beating Auburn. Beat Auburn, get your bragging rights for next year, and you move on. But if you lose to Ole Miss, I can give 2 craps because you're playing for nothing. The only thing you're playing for at this point is pride. And even then, do we even have pride? Are we even playing for pride right now? Because I mean, I don't know. I don't think we've played with pride. I don't think we've played with Bama pride the entirety of the year. No, I'll take that back. The only games we played pride was Utah State and fucking Vanderbilt. That's what we played for pride. That's when we were extremely prideful, was Utah State and fucking Vanderbilt. Besides that, though, we have not played up to the standard. We've not played with pride. So I won't even say that at this point. We've played like absolute fluent shit. So I can care less if we lose to Ole Miss. I would not be surprised at all if we lose to Ole Miss. I'll be rooting for Bama. Don't get it twisted. I'll root for my team. I'm not going to give up. Not going to jump off the bandwagon. But if we lose that game, I just could not care less. I would not be stressed at all if we lose this game. And typically right now, I'm not even really stressed that we lost to LSU tonight. I'm disappointed because, you want your team to win, but I'm not stressed. Seriously, like I'm not stressed at all that we lost this game. I'm just more disappointed because at some point, when you keep seeing the same shit over and over and over and over again, it's insanity. The same stuff repeating over and over and over again. It's the definition of insanity, man. And at some point, when are why am I yelling? Why am I screaming? Why am I ready to break stuff in my room? Or in the room, in the house, or go outside and just be all moody for the rest of the day, right? Yell at yell at the neighbors or crap like that. Like why would I do that when I know that this stuff is coming? When I know that this stuff is happening, it's been happening all year. So why do I think any different from this? So, like I said, the only thing I look for, the only thing that will piss me off, the only thing that will get me yelling and doing all those actions is if Bill O'Brien and Pete Golden can continue to remain here throughout the entirety of the offseason. If those two guys, or if one of those guys is not fired, that's when I'm going to start that's when I'm going to start yelling. That's when I'm going to start going off. But the one thing I will say this, guys, the one thing I am mad about is that Bryce Young is going to walk out here without winning a national championship for himself. He has a ring on his finger, but the fact that Bryce Young is going to walk out of here without winning a national title pisses me off more than anything in the world, because I know that Bryce Young is the best quarterback that we've ever had. Yeah, listen, we've had great quarterbacks: Joe Namath, Kenny Stabler, right? You look at some of the other, some of the great quarterbacks that we would have throughout the ages. Some people consider A.J. McCarron to be the greatest. He's the most accomplished because he's got 3 titles. Mac Jones won a national title. Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa. A lot of great quarterbacks have walked and passed through Alabama. Bryce Young's the best quarterback we've ever had. And quite frankly, Bryce Young is the quarterback that had to deal with the crap they had to deal with. It's kind of it reminds me a lot of Eli Manning or even Peyton Manning when they were in Tennessee. When you knew that Peyton Manning was possibly one of the greatest quarterbacks that college football has ever seen, but he never won a national title. That's how I feel about Bryce Young. This all-time great quarterback walks out of here with nothing, loses to Tennessee for the first time since 2007, loses to LSU on the road for the first time since 2010, all losses that will stain Bryce Young's legacy. Because let's think about it. 20, 30 years from now, the new generation is not going to remember Bryce Young. They're not going to remember what we're seeing as far as Bryce Young, carrying this offense, carrying Bill O'Brien on his back. They're going to remember the record. They're going to look at the record and they're going to sit up and say, "Well, why do you consider Bryce Young to be the best quarterback in Alabama? He lost. I mean, he went 6-2. He went 11-2 or whatever the record is going to be by the end of the year. But he won a Citrus Bowl and he lost a national championship to Georgia. Why is he considered the best quarterback of all time? I don't understand this. I mean, yeah, he won a Heisman Trophy, but look what Mac Jones was able to do. Mac Jones threw for 4,500 yards and 40 touchdowns and 40 touchdowns, and he won a national title. Why isn't Mac Jones the best quarterback of all time? Why isn't Tua Tagovailoa the best quarterback of all time? Why isn't A.J. McCarron the best? He's won 3. So it's a shame that we're going to get into a point where Bryce Young is going to leave, and and he has in 10. And these losses are going to stain his legacy for the rest of his career. And not a lot of people are going to remember it 30 years from now. It's a shame. Derek, and this is pretty much all Georgia fans. You have all right to brag, dog. You have all the right to brag. You guys won huge today. You beat Tennessee, and Bama lost. And he spammed the crap out of it too. So, Maz, don't block him. Don't block him. Don't block him. Don't do it. I know there's gonna be some Maz that are willing to pull the trigger finger. You know, like I said, any fans, they have rights to brag, dog. Georgia fans are just running rampant though. But no, I'll say this before. I'll say this again, guys. There's no reason why Georgia should not win a national title. Literally, the only team that's in their path is Ohio State, and even then, I think Georgia's a great matchup for them. I understand that injuries are starting to pile up, but they got too much talent. They have the leadership is there. They have all the momentum in the world right now. Great coaching staff, great leadership, and great talent. And when you have and when all the stars are aligned together, this is one of those years where Georgia could be looking at back-to-back titles. So no reason at all why they should not win it. But I'm just not a believer in Ohio State. I don't think they can do it. But congratulations to Georgia. Like I said, Georgia LSU, that's looking like the SEC championship matchup, unless LSU screws it up and they lose two back-to-back games. So we'll see what happens. He won an SEC championship game. But let's be honest here, guys. Bama fans, we're spoiled, bro. We don't care about. It's great to win an SEC championship game. It's always proud that we're going to win it. No one cares about that, though. No one cares about it. We care about national titles. And at the end of the day, man, Bryce Young he wasn't able to get one. He wasn't able to win one. He wasn't able to win one, not get one. He already has one. He wasn't able to earn one, to get one. And people are going to be remembering the Tennessee loss, the LSU loss. It's a lot more losses that a lot of people are going to remember than the wins that he's going to have on a schedule. People don't even talk about Bama's win against Georgia in the SEC championship game. They talk about the national title and how he threw that pick six. No one even talks about the SEC championship game and how Bryce Young threw for 400 yards in 3 quarters. No one talks about that game, though. They talk about the natty where he threw the pick six to Keely Ringo. That's history, man. That's how history is written. Yeah, like I said, Ohio State, they got the receiving core. Jackson Smith and Jigba has been hurt all year. We'll see what happens with that. They got the receiving core, that's for sure. There's no excuse at all, though, for Ohio State to lose. There's no excuse. They should be able to win this they should be able to win, no question about it. I'm sorry, for Georgia. Georgia should be the favorites to win, no question about that. Yeah. If they lose to Arkansas and A&M, Bama's back in the race. But even then, A&M has been horrific. Arkansas lost to Liberty. They've been horrific. Who knows, though? Who knows? If LSU loses back-to-back games, that's the only way Bama could be back in it. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Arkansas is going to win one of those. I think LSU is going to win one of those games. LSU could be 9-3, and they'll still have the advantage over Alabama. So, it is what it is, man. If LSU loses both games, sad, but I don't think that'll happen. Yeah. I'll give Ohio State this, though. When you play in 30-mile-per-hour winds, I don't know if any of you guys have ever played in that type of weather or have ever seen that type of weather. That's like playing in a hurricane, dude. 30-mile-per-hour winds is no joke. That shit sucks to play in. It is damn near impossible to throw the football in. So I'll give Ohio State more of a break there. I was more surprised, though, that they weren't dominant up front. They weren't. That's the shocker. And that's why I think Georgia matches up well with Ohio State, because I think Georgia can match up with Ohio State's intensity on the line of scrimmage. That's the shocking part, was that they weren't dominant on the line of scrimmage against kind of a subpar Northwestern squadron. Yeah, Zach, like I said, congratulations to the Tigers, man. Tigers did their thing. Brian Kelly, man, first win as an LSU head coach. Like, think about the coaches. Like, think about the coaches that just could not beat. Les Miles, as great as a coach that he was, could not, only beat Nick Saban. I think he beat Nick Saban twice. Ed Orgeron beat him once. But Alabama had a streak against LSU. I think they won 7 or 8 games in a row. We were on a 2-game winning streak against LSU, and now Brian Kelly's first game as LSU head coach beats Bama. So, congratulations. But clearly, like I said before, this Bama team is subpar as all hell. We'll be lucky to walk out of here with 2 losses. Ole Miss should be favored. They should be favorited because we have not played well on the road all year round. They should be favorited. That's for damn sure. We'll see what happens, man. But congratulations to LSU, man. And like I said, good luck to them the rest of the way. Hope they have a wonderful season. Oh yeah, man. Like I said, yep. Like I said, congratulate. Like I said, LSU fans, you guys deserve it, man. Celebrate it. Like I said before, I'm actually kind of glad we lost. Because guess what? Now we don't have to deal with Bill O'Brien and Pete Golding anymore. One of those 2 guys are going to get fired. So in a way, I'm actually celebrating a little bit. In a way, there might be some solace in that, but no, LSU fans, you guys absolutely deserve this win. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that is true. I mean, it's to a point now where it's all about the natty, right? It's all about the natty. SEC championship game just doesn't really matter that much anymore. Strictly, but I will say this, Derek, we're getting to a point now where I think any conference championship game doesn't matter because now we're going to an 8 playoff system. We now have an 8 playoff system. Where literally championship games are not going to matter that much. I mean, like I said, there's going to be home field advantages. There's most likely going to be bye weeks. But that's just an extra game for a lot of the teams that are doing the back in the playoffs, just for them to kind of rest up a little bit. So I think in a way, we're heading to that point now where conference championships are just not going to matter that much anymore, besides trying to get a better position in seeding. But you never know, man. You play in any football game, that's high risk for injury. Like, players can get injured. And it doesn't matter, players get, they can get injured. Something could happen, And so I think we're getting to a point now where conference championship games are just not really going to matter that much. Yeah, and think about this. As soon as Brian Kelly gets his class together, it's going to be scary, man. But, the Bama does not no longer owns the SEC, right? It's open, I mean, it's looking like it's Georgia's now, but LSU is going to come up. Ole Miss is doing their thing. Bama's just kind of falling behind. Yeah, we should have. Yeah, we should be 5-4. We should have lost to A&M and we should have lost to Texas. I completely agree with you on that. I made the argument last year that Alabama should have 4 losses. That they should have 4 losses last year, but it is what it is. Yeah, another great game. And again, that's the one thing I can say about Bama. We rarely get blown out. If we're going to lose a game, we're going to go out swinging. And I give the players credit for fighting throughout the entirety of the game without quitting. But at the end of the day, the standard for Alabama is winning games and winning national titles. That's the standard that's been held up for damn near over 15 years. So I'm not going to kind of fall for it now. So it is what it is. But definitely a great game. That's for damn sure. As much as I'm complaining and ripping our coaching staff and ripping the players, this was a great game to watch. Seriously, from a non-biased standpoint, this was a phenomenal game to watch, and all the credit in the world goes to LSU for finishing off the game. Yeah. If Bill O'Brien, Crimson, I don't even want to think about that, bro. If Bill O'Brien stays at the University of Alabama, let me tell you something right here. There is going to be hell. People, literally, I will come to Tuscaloosa personally, and I would literally, no, let me stop. Let me stop before I get in trouble, man. Bill O'Brien should not. No, there's no way in hell. Like I can't even. There is no way in hell he even stays at Alabama. I refuse to believe that he's going to be at the University of Alabama. No, I refuse it. There's no reason for him to come. No reason for him to come at all, man. So I don't believe it at all. We'll see what happens, man. But no, there's no way. No way in hell. Yep, yin and yang, man. Congratulations on the win, dog. Yeah, yep. Georgia should win that game against Mississippi State. Man, that's crazy, man. Georgia, that's just crazy. Georgia lost all those players, and Georgia is there. I mean, they're on their way to potentially having an undefeated season. It's just absolutely insane. But oh boy, it is what it is, man. But I guess I'll make a final statement because it is starting to get a little late. I'm starting to get a little tired. So I guess I'll make a final statement before we get out of here. But before we get into this, guys, make sure to hit the like button, share the video, subscribe. We are trying to push for YouTube affiliate. We're trying to hit affiliate. So as soon as we can get that, we can start to get super chats. We can start to kind of get that going. So make sure. So the only way you guys can help me out is by hitting the like button, hit the share button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Whether if you're an Alabama fan, LSU fan, Georgia fan, whatever fan base you're coming from. If you want college football content, you want NFL content, because like I said, we got my bill to talk about tomorrow. Definitely smash the like, share the video, and subscribe. And I'll go out like this, man. This loss was definitely deserving. Congratulations to LSU for the win because they absolutely deserved it. They fought hard. They fought hard the entire game. They held the intensity. The crowd was amazing, and they wanted this win more than Alabama did. But Alabama, the coaching was shit. We've been seeing the same thing since the beginning of the year. The intensity from our players were also not there as well. We absolutely deserve this loss. And everyone should be held accountable. Nick Saban should be held accountable for his shitty-ass game management decisions. Our coaching staff should be held accountable for the crappy concepts and designs that they were able to instill throughout the entirety of this game. Not just throughout the game, but the season. And the lack of intensity of our players. Lack of execution. Receivers couldn't get any separation, subpar offensive line play, lack of commitment to the running attack, and once again, playing man-to-man coverage with our safeties, having mismatches, and having 9 penalties, having turnovers in the red zone. Crappy play that's been consistent throughout the entirety of the year. Finally catches up with Alabama, and now they're out of the playoff discussion. So now we get to talk about Citrus Bowl talk. We get to talk about Pete Golding and Bill O'Brien potentially being out the door, because that is the only positive that I can take away from this loss, that Nick Saban's backed into a corner and that Bill O'Brien and Pete Golding can finally get their asses out of Tuscaloosa, or one of them can. And let me tell you something. If they're not out the door by the time the season is over, there is going to be a freaking riot in Tuscaloosa, because there is no way in hell both these guys should be in here. But if there's any solace to take away from this, is the fact that there's conversations to now talk about the offseason. Recruiting is going to be a focal point now. A lot of these, again, this should not affect our recruiting class, because I think that for the most part, you can make a pitch that a lot of these guys could potentially play as freshmen. But there's no question, guys, we've lost our identity. We've lost the standard. We got to try to find, we got to get it back. Simple as that. We got to try to find a way to get the standard back. And the only way for us to get that standard back, guys, is to start off with the coaches. And the coaches need to go. Pete Golding needs to go. Bill O'Brien needs to go. We need to evaluate the other positions of need, because those other areas are positions that we may need to question. And by the way, stop going after the damn transfer portal. Stop getting players in the damn transfer portal, for God's sake. Get players that you can groom. Get players that you can groom your damn selves. Georgia damn near didn't even use the damn transfer portal, and they're about to go to back-to-back national. They're about to go to back-to-back SEC championship games and competing once again for another national title, where our asses are sitting at home because we relied too much on the damn portal. Stop going after the damn portal. Rely on your players that you can build these players homegrown, instead of looking at fucking other teams' leftovers. Stop doing that, and let's try to build ourselves up. We need to build ourselves up again. We need to create we need to create that dynasty like we used to, create the standard. And again, the only way we can do that is by letting these coaches go. That starts off at the top. let go of some of these coaches, and then we can try to build through our roster and build our roster for the most part. But there's no question, guys, that the standard is lost, and we need to find a way to get that back. But anyway, guys, that is all I have for the stream. Hopefully you guys have a good night. Again, Bama fans, I know that this is disappointing, but hey, we get to look forward to a less stressful football season, and at least we can focus on the Auburn game because that's the only game we can care about. Whatever bowl game we play in, I'll support Alabama. It is what it is. It's Roll Tide for forever. Will not jump off the bandwagon, and that's another positive. A lot of bandwagon fans are going to jump off and they'll hop on somebody else's bandwagon. So you can take them. I'll stick with Alabama football. But to be honest, again, I just could care less about what bowl game we play on. I care about this team, though. I do care about this organization. I do care about this program. Bryce Young, get the hell out of Tuscaloosa. Will Anderson, get out, get into the NFL, and all the final words finally kind of got this way. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for you guys for this live stream. This is Jan Sports. Hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe because it helps out the YouTube algorithm. We are trying to push for affiliate. And I'll catch you guys out on the next one. Probably will live stream tomorrow. If not, check out Run the Talk Sports because I'll most likely be on his stream. We'll talk about some Bama football. But catch you guys out later. Peace.